So let's talk about Kenny Porter, guys. First of all, I would like to begin with Sean Porter and tell something to Sean Porter, man. I'm a big fan, bro. I I actually think a lot of you, and I just wanted to tell you this is why I'm showing my face. I normally don't show my face in my videos because you know how it is. Like you get cancel culture, people find out where you work, they want to tell you their piece. But my where I come from, Cuba, bro, we know that when you talk to a man and you're gonna tell them the truth, you talk to them in the eyes, right? And this is the closest I can come to it by showing my face in this video. But here I'm gonna talk about something that really rubbed me off the wrong way yesterday when I was watching the fight, and it's Kenny Porter, man. I've had it with this guy, and I decided to make this video. And again, Sean Porter, bro, like don't take this personal. I think a lot about you. You're literally the Archangel Michael archetype. You don't know what that means. That means you're just a good son, man. You cannot help yourself but be a good son. And no matter like if your dad is good or bad, you're gonna stand by him till the end. And that's what Archangel Michael does, right? So you're an archetype of Archangel Michael, bro. That's who you are, bro. We can't fix that. So let's get to Kenny Porter real quick. I always wanted to let you guys know here that Adrien Broner should have been known as Adrien the Prophet Broner, not the problem, bro. Because this guy, they always say, man, children and drunk people always say the truth, right? And Adrien Broner was a drunk man. He was a drunk. Everybody knows that, bro. He got up there and told the truth. Like, a lot of people are shy to say this, but what Adrien Broner is a freaking prophet. He told the truth in 2015. 6 years ago, man. This man was creepily, eerily right about Kenny Porter, bro. I'm going to play this. I remember this. I have a blessed memory. I want to thank God for that. I have a really good memory when most people forget things that happened 10, 20 years ago or 5 years or 6 years like this case. I remember it, bro. That's why I'm such a good boxing fan, because I remember everything that's ever happened in the sport. But without further ado, I'm just going to give you Adrien the Prophet Broner, and then we're going to break down Kenny Porter and who he is. Okay, so let's get started.
Next up, none other than Adrien the Problem Broner.
Let's hear Adrien the Prophet Broner, guys.
I gotta start it off like everybody else, you know. Thanks to God, of course. But we gonna go ahead and turn left, you know. Thank Al Heyman and Big Bro and all that good
stuff. Don't worry,
stuff.
he gets right to the point.
But we gonna go ahead and let everybody know, like, this is the AB show. This is the start of the AB show. And y'all getting it first live in person. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm fighting Sean Porter, a football player. And I'm fighting his dad. It's like I'm fighting his dad because when he get his check, the check come in his dad's name, and then he pays Sean.
You know that's right.
And then he makes Sean sign a check, and then he go deposit it in a joint account at the U.S. Bank in Southern. I visit Floyd House Life.
This man's crazy, but
So I see him at the U.S. Bank in Southern out spending Sean's money. That's why he got the better cars. He got the big Jeep, the big boy Jeep. You gotta hop out of it to get out of it. Then he got the Corvette with the Lamborghini doors. While Sean, he either catching an Uber or see, y'all making this a joke. I'm just telling him. He either catching an Uber or he's hopping out his 2011 CTS, the little one. I just don't get it. That's the difference between me and him, because I pay my dad. You know, I pay my dad for all of this.
Man, you know it's true that Porter has come out and said it himself. He manages his son money. Even yesterday in the post-fight, like in Radio Raheem post-fight, he was talking about, oh, we're not worried about him retiring. We've made some great investments. I've taken his money and invested it really good. He literally said this. So you know that he manages his money, right? But like, in my opinion, and this is just from outside looking in, Sean Porter looks like a more humble man who takes more care of his money than his dad. You see, his dad has thick chains, big diamond earrings. He dresses nicer than Sean Porter, meaning he spends more money on his clothes, throws away more money than his son in nonsense like that, like big cars, Corvettes. You know this. Sean Porter, dad, Kenny Porter, shows off a lot more than his son. His son is a lot more humble. He probably spends his money a lot more wisely, but yet Ken Porter controls his money. You know this is true. He said it out loud. He manages his money, and this guy's just exposing that.
Hell that I'm taking. You're not about to live your dream. Then he made him move to Las Vegas. That's his dream.
You hear that?
That's his dream that he wanted. He wanted to move out here. He got the girl that shot.
Girl, let's play that again. You'll see how this guy is a motherfucking prophet. And I'm sorry to swear.
For all of this hell that I'm taking. You're not about to live your dream. Then he made him move to Las Vegas. That's his dream. That's his dream that he wanted. He wanted to move out here. He got the girl.
You see, moving to Las Vegas was Kenny Porter's dreams. Let's take a look and say if that's true. Let's take a look. So this is 6 years later. He probably forgot all about this press conference. He forgot that that Adrien Broner exposed him 6 years ago. He forgot about this because he doesn't have the memory I have. So he goes ahead and he fucking admits it on camera.
I want to say he was probably like 18-0, and I said, Sean, you're gonna have to make a decision, cause I'm leaving. I'm moving to Vegas. You gonna stay here with your friends, or you coming to Vegas? He said, can you give me one more day to get a few things together, and then I'll be going with you. You know, and we left everything that was going on behind us. Leaving Ohio.
Okay, I just want to go back a little more so you hear him again. So this guy, his son is 18-0. His son is his whole future. I mean, all the money these people have made is from Sean Porter. Should be looking out after his son. Look at him sacrifice his son to move to Las Vegas. You see how he's his drum? He gave his son, even though his son was 18-0 at the time, an ultimatum. I'm going to Vegas. So he was willing to abandon his son in Ohio if his son wasn't willing to come with them, to go to Las Vegas and pursue his dreams. Putting himself over his seat yet again. Again, I'm not going to tell anyone how to parent or whatever, but you tell me what you think about this. Tell me this is not Kenny Porter putting himself above his son, giving his son an ultimatum on one day to decide whether he wants to go to Vegas. And then I'll show you how it affected Sean. You'll see.
I want to say he was probably like 18-0. And I said, Sean, you're going to have to make a decision, because I'm leaving. I'm moving to Vegas.
See, it was his dream. It was his dream to move to Vegas. Sean Porter didn't want that. He forced Sean Porter to do that. His whole life, he's been forcing Sean Porter to live the life he wants, man. I feel bad for Sean, man.
You going to stay here with your friends, or you coming to Vegas? He said, can you give me one more day to get a few things together, and then I'll be going with you. You know, and we left everything that was going on behind us.
Leaving. Now watch how it affected Sean. Sean is about to talk, right? You see, this guy gave his son an ultimatum, bro. I'm going to Vegas, man. It's my dream. I don't care that you're 18-0. He would have failed. His son, he was doing that because he knew his son was Archangel Michael, and his son was gonna say yes no matter what. Cause trust me, bro. Had his son said no, bro, Kenny ain't never gonna get another champion. I'm telling you right now, he's never gonna have another fighter that is not his son be a champion or do better than his son. His son is the reason he has wealth. It's the reason why he's even gone somewhere in the sport of boxing. But he doesn't think so. He thinks he would have been bigger as a trainer in Vegas by himself and leaving his son behind in Ohio. He probably thought that. Fucking bullshit. But he knew that deep down, his son wouldn't say no.
Thing that was going on behind us.
This manipulation.
Leaving Ohio was very hard for me because I was leaving a lot of friends. My friends are like my family. And then, of course, having real blood family at home. I didn't want to leave anybody.
You see? He didn't want to do it, man. He made him... This is freaking Kenny's dream, man. And he's forcing his son, sacrificing his son for his dream, man. This is sad, but fucking Adrien Broner was right. 100% right. That's why he got
under Kenny's. When we finally got here, you know, I told him, I said, if you want to be a president of the United States, you live in the White House. And if you want to be world champion, you live in Las Vegas. And
that's the dumbest shit that anybody ever said, brother. Dumbest shit anybody's ever said. The only fighter to ever fight in Las Vegas and train there was Floyd Mayweather. Every single other fighter that's been at the top of the game is trained somewhere else. Tyson Fury's trained somewhere else. Freaking Deontay Wilder's trained somewhere else. We'd have freaking Gennady Golovkin, Big Bear, California. We got all the cats in Houston, Lara and the Charlo brothers. You got all the people that train, like Errol Spence too, right? Omaha. You got Terrence Crawford in Omaha. Canelo trains in Mexico most of the time. And he's the pound for pound king. So this guy is just saying some dumb, low IQ stuff, man. It's just absolutely just sacrificing his son so he could go to Las Vegas, play games, and be the role model he looked up to, a pimp, right? Basically pimp his son out.
This is where we're at, and this
I'll
is where
prove
we'll
all
be.
the things I'm saying.
I was miserable when I first moved out here. I didn't want to be here.
Miserable when he was in Las Vegas. He got moved 18-0, bro. He was on the up and out. His daddy should have been just there for him, like Angel Garcia was there for Danny, just rooting him on wherever Danny wanted to go, right? Danny stayed in his hometown of Philadelphia. Look at this guy. Just, oh no, we need to go to Las Vegas. Uprooted this man, you know? And this guy was miserable. From his own word, I'm not saying this. This is 6 years after Adrien Broner called it. This is why it got under his skin back then. It's true.
I was miserable when I first moved out here. I didn't want to be here. I hated it here.
What do you think that does for the mental health of a fighter, man? Being in a place he doesn't like constantly, away from his friends. You think that's good? Just next to his father, who all he does is yell at him.
But I had a song on, and it was kind of speaking to me. And it was basically saying, why are you mad about being where every fighter wants to be?
That's not true. You see, this is the manipulation of his dad. Eventually gets through and gets to him, and he's like, why are you mad, right? Because he eventually believes the lie. You hear a lie enough times, you eventually believe it. And his father is the only voice that is constantly there in his ear telling him a lie over and over again. Let's get back to Adrien Broner and see what else he called.
That's his dream, that he won't move to Las Vegas. That's his dream. That's his dream, that he wanted. He wanted to move out here. He got the girl that Sean supposed to have. Either today he got on the better suit.
You know, I see too, like so I told you early, man. You know Trump Porter, when I've ever seen conference, I remember sometimes even Danny Garcia stuff. Kenny shows up with more bling and a more expensive suit than his son. It's unbelievable, man. It's sad to say, but that's true, and you know it.
Oh my God, they live together.
Oh my God, he knows it's crazy.
Damn, I mean, let him live. Let him have some fun, man. I mean, I can't go. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen for me. So, since they both getting a check, if I kick both of their ass, would I get paid twice?
You see, this what you see after all the things that he said. This is what got, like I'm telling you, all the things that he just said got really under Kenny Porter's skin, because it's true. Only the truth gets under your skin like that. You know this, bro. So now you see Kenny, he's gonna pretty much, I don't like to use chimp out because then people say I'm racist, but he's gonna, you know, get altered, flustered, and act out.
Will I get paid twice?
Hey, you know, you probably gonna need to be paid twice.
I'm just saying.
For all that child support, baby.
I'm just saying, man.
He thinks he's being smart, slick, bringing out their child
15% to
support.
the first, baby.
I'm just saying.
He's not.
I'm just
10% to that trainer, 20% to the, what you got? We
He
over
high.
the top already.
He high.
We over the top.
He
I
high.
think you in the zero now. Is he in the red? We in the red.
Anyways,
he high.
they keep going back and forth,
That
yelling.
leather, he high. Nah, y'all looking good though. Y'all looking good, man. Y'all looking good though. Y'all looking good. Y'all ready to go to lunch, brunch, Sunday dinner? Nah, man, this is gonna be a great fight though, man. I'm very, you know, I'm very excited because, to be honest, you know, I like Sean as a person.
You see, who wouldn't, bro? Even Adrien Broner, who I'm nothing like Sean Porter as a person. I like Sean Porter as a person. Sean Porter is an Archangel Michael, brother. That's what I'm telling you. Sean Porter is love itself, bro. He cannot say no to his dad. Sean Porter is amazing, bro. But I feel bad for him. This is why I'm saying this, because he will never say it himself, because he's too good. And he probably hates that I'm saying it. But, bro, this is why Adrien Broner said it too. Like, Sean, it's because I like him that I'm doing this. If I didn't like Sean Porter, I wouldn't be doing this. It's fucked up, but it's because I like Sean Porter that I'm doing this.
He gets so much negative energy from his dad.
See that?
And that's just the truth. Like,
That's just the truth.
like everybody he go around, you know,
saying the
he
truth.
get the negative energy because of his dad. I was always taught if it's negative, go somewhere else. So I got an opposition for you. After this fight, after I whoop your ass, come sign to about billions. I'm gonna gonna put you in a better car than your dad's.
Anyways,
because after
he's joking, but let's hear that again, and then I'll show you if that's true or not. Right? Maybe Adrien Broner was probably the opposite in a bad way too. Maybe he just wanted too much positive energy and too much hype and never any truth. But bro, you can't just be all negative too, which is what Ken Porter is. Ken Porter is all negative, and I'll show you.
he gets so much negative, and I'm very excited because, to be honest, I like Sean as a person. He gets so much negative energy from his dad. And that's just the truth. Like everybody he go around, he get that negative energy because of his dad. I was always...
See, his dad gets it, and now let's go over it. Let's see if he gets that negative energy from his dad or not. Take a look at this clip that I got waiting
Here's what
for
the
you.
problem is. Get back on defense like I ask. You're standing in front of him. 30 shots. 30 shots. Slip, pivot, turn. Quit doing what you want to do. You understand?
100%. Yes, sir.
Much of Sean Porter's stellar amateur success can be attributed to his head trainer and father, Kenny Porter.
I disagree with that. I 100% disagree with that. I attribute it to Sean Porter. I think Sean Porter is a better fighter. He was destined to be a better fighter than he is, and his dad maybe set him back a little bit. In my opinion, I know it's controversial. In the other hand, I think Danny Garcia was destined to be a worse fighter than he is, and his dad set him forward. That's my view. If you don't like it, that's cool. But that's what I think. That's what I think. I think actually Sean Porter is really good, really athletic, really smart, and he's actually better off without his dad in his corner. That's my opinion. I don't get mad.
However, in spite of all their accomplishments, the two are no strangers to tough love.
I've been blessed with an amount of patience that is.
He knows he needs that patience.
Really
Sean Porter
uncommon.
deep down, because he's smart, bro. He knows that's wrong. He knows his dad is crazy. He knows he needs a lot of patience to put up with this nonsense, right? He knows it, but obviously because he's gotta love his father above all, because he's Archangel Michael, he's gonna freaking justify whatever. He's gonna do whatever mental gymnastics he needs to keep loving his dad. That's just the facts of the matter,
Time. What I ask you to do. If you don't work on it, you're not going to be able to transfer it to the fight.
My dad, at 33, my dad is softer on me than he was probably when I was 13. Definitely much softer than he was.
He's saying that it was worse than it is now. Look how bad it is right now. I just can't believe getting treated by 33 years old. I'm getting yelled at like this constantly. After I've done all the things that Sean Porter's done, I'm proving his worth time and time again. That his dad still treats him like that. It's crazy. And to hear him say that it used to be worse, man, I could only imagine.
That was when I was 23.
Let me tell you about Sean Porter. Instead of doing defense, guess what? I don't want to do what you just told me to do. I'm going to hit him. That's not what I'm asking for. Resist doing what you want to do and what I'm asking you to do. Basic, fundamental, offense, defense.
Did you hear that? I want to tell you something, right? I like psychology. I don't recommend therapists. Therapists have too much power in today's societies. They can classify you as crazy and take your kids away. It's unreal the power that therapists have right now in society. But like everything that's been corrupted, it started with a good concept to help you out, to ask you questions so you can work over the problems that you have, how you feel about them, right? It's not about your experience with your dad. It's about how that experience is told to yourself in your subconscious, right? That's what matters. So I just want to know about what he just said. Look at this therapy thing. He said, don't do what you want to do. Do what I want you to do. So how is that supposed to empower him? In the ring at the end, when the bell rings and he has to go and fight the other guy, that the only two guys in there is him and Terence Crawford or his opponent. He needs to trust himself. But if he's constantly told that his thoughts, everything he does is wrong, he's trash, he's not smart enough to fight properly, only his dad and what he tells him is correct, then that doesn't empower him in the ring. That actually takes away his power, makes him a weaker of the mind, makes him second guess, makes him jittery. You know what I mean? It doesn't build the trust that he needs to fight properly, man. You can't have that weak of a mentality. You know, like this guy is constantly telling you suck, you suck. You need to listen to me. Don't, what you thinking, when you think something, literally he tells him that. Don't think that that's wrong, do the opposite. How is that supposed to make someone think that every thought that comes to his head is wrong? That's fucked up. Think about that for a second, people. This is basic psychology, and I'm going to play it again so you understand. And hear what he's saying and understand how that gets translated into the subconscious of Sean Porter. Right? Please.
What I'm asking you to do, asking for. Resist to do, I'm gonna hit him. That's not what I'm asking for. Resist doing what you want to do and what I'm asking you to do. Basic, fundamental.
See, resist what you want to do. So that's telling him subconsciously that his thoughts are not good enough, that he's not smart, that only his dad knows what's going on. He's 33 by now. He has way more experience than his dad's ever had way more fights. You know, to say that to someone like that, who at that level of his profession, that he's about to, who retired because he already reached as high as he's going to get, that he still didn't figure it out, that he still doesn't have good thoughts coming to his mind. He doesn't have good, fundamentals and thoughts about what to do in the fight. That's crazy. That's crazy to me that he would say something to that to a guy with that experience. No trainer would dare say that. That's wrong.
Offense, defense.
We've had some situations where we really butted heads and it got really ugly. Got really ugly to the point where I did have those thoughts of, hey, I can't with him anymore.
You should have left him, man. I think you would have had a better career.
In and out,
But
commit
that's
to
just
it.
my
If you're
opinion, man.
slipping,
You don't like
commit
it,
to
just
it.
like the
If
video.
you're
I don't care.
pivoting, commit to it.
From the outside in, people look and they say, oh, he being hard on that guy. You know what? Everything that you deal with in this ring is hard.
Look at that chin,
Get
man.
down to the
Chin,
body
bro.
when you
That
get
mono,
close.
So the person that's training you and preparing you for war has got to be for real with you.
If you keep
What war, bro? You seen the old wars? You ever seen a war from back in the days? You ever seen a good fight? You ever seen the actual Hagler-Hearn fight? Brother, the thing that you did throwing in the towel, bro, come on, man. At the point that you did, you're talking about war? Preparing someone for war? I'm not going to say anything
listening
else.
to
He's talking about
Sean
war.
and not listening to
Look
me.
at that, look at that. Look at what he says here. You see what I mean? Like, this guy's horrible.
Got to be for real with you.
If you keep listening to Sean and not listening to me, you're not going to be successful.
You listen to that? Man, this guy is the worst. I mean, Sean, if you go to therapy, they're going to ask you these very simple questions, brother. They really will. And it's going to be hard for you to answer them, brother. I feel bad for you, man. Look what that guy just said to you. Like, imagine me when I ask you, hey, Sean, yeah, how's your relationship with your father? Let me take notes. And I want to see what you answer. And then I'm going to ask you probably a question like, can you recall a time where, like, your father came to you and told you, hey, sorry, son, I believe this was my fault, and I apologize. And could you tell me how that went? See, these are questions a therapist would ask. And I'm just wondering what Sean would answer, you know what I mean? Because look what that guy just told him. Do not listen to Sean. He's 33 years old right here. 2-time welterweight champ. He had amazing fights, close fights with everybody. Always put in a great effort. An amazing amateur career. And he's telling him he still doesn't have it figured out. Do not listen to Sean. Listen to me, and that's the only way you're going to be successful. So he cannot be successful on his own, according to him. How is that empowering your son? You want to empower your son. So by the age of 18, he believes in himself, believes he can be successful, and goes out there and is successful on his own. That's called empowering your son. Is that he believes that he's successful, he thinks for himself, and can solve his problems without you having to tell him. That's actually raising your son properly. He's building the trust himself to solve his own problems. You know what I mean? Something that Kenny cannot do at all. He's telling you, do not listen to Sean. Listen to me, because that's the only way to be successfully. So how is that? That takes away all his power, saying that he cannot be successful on his own. That is not good to tell a kid, and he probably been telling him as a kid, let alone a grown man anymore.
Do you understand?
Yes. If it's anything less than that, he's contributed to your failure.
You got to be smart. You got
I
to be
got no idea what he's
intelligent.
talking about.
Right? So I borrow other people's intelligence
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
and
I'm
you
going to
fight,
give you
bro.
some
You're
of
trash,
mine.
man.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah. You see, we just talked. I
Today
just
was
made him feel
easy
like shit, and now
for
we're
me to
done.
listen to my dad and have
Poor
the,
guy. You
the
see,
true
Archangel
understanding
Michael.
that he's telling me the right things. Be
Archangel Michael, brother. You see what I mean?
different if I didn't agree.
Archangel Michael, brother.
So there's certain things that jumpstart him.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways.
Big,
I'll
this
show
is
you
the
some
guy
more
that's
of this negative.
responsible for all the style. This is the guy that's
See
responsible
what
for
they've been telling him his whole life? who's the guy responsible for all the things that Sean's being successful? They never tell him, hey, you see, because it's the thing with Kenny. Every one of Sean's wins is Kenny's success. It's like, oh, it's all thanks to Kenny's. This is the guy who made it possible. Yeah. And all of freaking Sean's losses are his fault, are Sean's fault for not listening to his dad. You see how this scam works? It's a psychological
This is the guy
scam.
that's responsible for all the style. This is the guy that's responsible for everything that's making it happen. Let's talk about what's going on and what's next for my man. Tell somebody what's going on, bro.
We thought this might be Sean's pro debut, but he's still working with this Olympic thing. So we said, you know what, we gonna jump it off anyway. He boxing tonight, he on a plane going back to Olympic Training Center in Colorado tomorrow to go to the next World Championships.
As an amateur, Porter had astounding success.
Anyways, I think that's the only part of this. I
Over the
wanted to play.
toughest competition he could find.
I would say the reason he has a resume that he has in the pros is because of what we did in the amateurs. We never backed away from.
As I fought, they couldn't handle it.
Was a top level middleweight, and he's got
trying to remember why I put
wins
this,
over
like,
all
I
of
put
these
that
guys.
You could hear them. That was what I.
Anyways, I think it was just to show you that how they always give credit to Kenny and not to Sean. Okay, let's take a look at this other clip.
What in this ring is hard.
Get down to the body when you get close.
So the person that's training you and preparing you for war has got to be for real with you.
If you keep,
Yeah, this is the part I already played you. Yeah. So let's take a look at
you
this.
turn him in, you're supposed to take the angle, but you're not following direction of what you're supposed to be doing, so you're all the way back here. I'm gonna ask for it in the corner, and you're gonna go back out there and do what you wanna do, and if you're not successful, that's not my fault.
You see? If you're successful, it's because of me, because you listen to me. If you're not successful, that is not my fault. I mean, like, I can get, like, this video is an straight up exposed on this man. This man is just exposed himself in multiple clips. I just have the good memory to recall everything he said. You see, because I come from Cuba, where in Cuba, brother, I'm going to tell you the truth. In every block, there's 5 people trying to scam you. Every block, there's 5 people trying to scam you. So you have to have the mind presence and be smart enough and have the memory to recall all their little lies, because they lie constantly. This is what the scammers do. They lie. They contradict themselves every once in a while. Like today they tell you something, Friday they tell you, because they talk so much that they contradict themselves. So you have to make sure that you have the memory to remember the things they say, because that's how you catch them. You're like, bro, but you just told me this the other day, right? This is the thing. You have to have the memory to remember these people so you can put them together. These people are scam artists, bro. I have the memory developed from all the scams of Cuba to remember all the things, all the little things about Sean and Kenny relations that I've seen over the years, and put it together for me to expose this guy. See what I'm talking about? Look at this. I've shown you, man. I've shown you the proof. Every time Sean wins is because of Kenny. Kenny's, because you listen to me. It is all thanks to this man. It's all thanks to Kenny, right? When he's not successful, oh no, man, it's not my fault. Look at Kenny not even blame himself.
What you want to do, and if you're not successful, that's not my fault.
See? Yelling at his 33-year-old man, son. It's not my fault.
Here,
What about
I'm
look?
gonna ask for it in the
What about
corner,
look?
and you're gonna go back out there and do what you want to do, and if you're not successful, that's
You see, if you do what you want to do, so 33 years old, a long-ass profession in boxing, probably knows way more than his dad ever did. The longest profession, one of the 2-time welterweight champ. And if he does what he want to do, he's not going to be successful, and it's not his daddy's fault. You understand what this does psychological to him? This man cannot trust himself because he hasn't been taught to trust himself. Hasn't been built any trust at all. This dad builds no trust in this man. Trust in himself. No one has ever told Sean that he's good enough. That yes, you alone are good enough, brother. No one's ever told him that.
not my fault.
See, no,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
what about look?
Next bail, Malik. Good turn, good turn.
One thing that my dad is really focused on, especially with this fight, is the fundamentals. You lose the fundamentals when the heat gets going, which is why my dad is like so stern about the fundamentals.
When you're in a hard fight, things aren't going your way. These are the basic things you got to do. Keep your hands up.
The thing with Archangel Michael, bro, is that if your father is God, then that's awesome, man. Sticking by him is only gonna do you good. But if your father isn't all that great, I'm not gonna call him Satan because obviously he's not. But if your father isn't all that good of a person, oh man, you're gonna go down a horrible, horrible future. And I'll tell you this: 20 years from now, I hope it never happens. I hope Sean Porter figures it out before it's too late. 20 years from now, if he keeps letting his dad manage his finances, and if he keeps like sucking up to his dad and doing everything his dad tell him, he'll be broke. He'll be broke as fuck. He'll have no money whatsoever, Sean Porter. I tell you this, his dad, he said that pimps are his role models. Pimps are his role models. This guy, he always overspends. He thinks too much of himself. He's always in big cars, like Adrien Broner said, bigger than his son. He says he make good financial moves. Bullshit, bro. He's gonna spend all that money. I guarantee you, when he's not making money from his son's fights. I feel horrible for this guy.
Protect yourself at all times.
Let's go, Porter. Let's work.
And if we're throwing punches, throwing the jab and the right hand correctly or the right cross correctly. Use in the fight, and we need these things in the fight. Good work.
And go.
Anyways, I think that's the part I wanted to show from that clip. Now, what else do I want to show you? They said that he's like, oh, great father and son. I don't believe that. I think he's just his trainer. The father-son relationship is broken. It's obvious for anyone that looks, but they don't want to admit it because they've been together for so long that it feels like it hasn't been broken. But I'll show you something real quick. Subconsciously, Sean knows this. Subconsciously, Sean does not want to hang out with his dad when he wants to get his dopamine. Meaning that when Sean wants to have a nice time and have time off, you know, that's why he, like, only when his time on is with his trainer, Kenny Porter. But when his time off, he's not with his dad like Angel Garcia and Danny Garcia. Look at Danny Garcia and Angel Garcia. When it's time off, they're actually together all the time, just like they were in the gym, because they have a good father-son relationship. When it's time off, Sean Porter does not want to be around Kenny, and deep down he does not want to be around Kenny. Kenny goes out there and speaks bullshit like, "Oh yeah, we jumped from a parachute together. I have a deadbeat dad, so I remember this." Sometimes when they don't do that much with you, really, whether they remember the one thing they did, right? This guy. You'll see, I'll show you these videos where, like, his dad is not actually hanging out with him when they're having fun. Maybe that one time when they went parachuting, and that's what he always brings up. But when they want to have fun, when Sean Porter wants to have his fun, his idea of fun is not the same idea of fun that his dad has. They're different people. And I'll show you, and they don't like each other when it comes to that. When it comes to having fun, they're not like that. They're not friends in that manner. I'll show you.
In every training camp, fighters must strive for balance, both inside and outside of the gym. And for the former WBC welterweight champion, an off day is spent with friends and family.
Friends and family, right? Hear that? An off day is spent with friends and family. I agree with that. That's what the speaker was just seeing, that it was his off day, and he was making the assumption, right? If it's his off day, he's going to spend it like we all do our off days, with friends and family. I don't know any of you that doesn't spend their off day with friends and family. It's the right thing to do. But you'll notice that his friends are there. Kenny Porter isn't there, though.
A different kind of sport.
My dad was like, I just want you to get out and do something. You've been training hard. We just try to be around a lot of family and friends and enjoy some time before we completely lock down and, get all the way.
He's been training with you every single time, right? He's your training. He's also should be super tired and wants some one time off. Why isn't he here taking the time off with you, Sean?
Serious. This was perfect. Weren't enough time. My dad and I feel the same. We're right on time with training.
You got one on 10 and 11. 10 and 11, far left. Give me some cake.
You see, he's telling you that, oh, we feel right on time. It's okay for me to take a time with the right on training. Right, we've done all the training. When we know it's not true, Kenny said after the fight that no, he didn't train enough. Right, meaning that he wouldn't have allowed his so-called time off. Right, he wanted him to train more. But Sean believed that they were on the same page and they had gotten enough training. You see the Discordia now. I just want to show you something.
Goddamn!
I just want to make sure that you know that Kenny wasn't
Stop looking at me!
there. See, Kenny's not there. He went on his time off. Kenny's not there with him. Okay, say whatever you want, but Kenny's not there. Sean's idea of fun does not include Kenny there, or Kenny's idea of fun does not include Sean there. Take another look at another time where Sean taking some time off and doing what he wants, and see if his dad is there.
So after a fight, I was
Angel's
like,
always there with his son Danny, bro, cheering him off, giving him that positive energy. I don't see the same thing from Kenny.
It's a part of my weekly regimen.
Let's get started.
I made this a part of my weekly regimen 7 years ago after a fight. I was like, I'm pretty sure that Bikram yoga showed up and helped me at some point. And then over the years, I've learned that it has really helped me in a lot of ways, physically and mentally, to get prepared for a fight.
Thank you so much for coming.
You know how much Sean loves this?
Your body
His dad's
thanks
not
you.
Yelling at him.
Have a beautiful day. Go in
Thank
peace.
you. Beautiful
Namaste.
Day, positive energy. See? Kenny was nowhere near there. He wouldn't take Kenny to. Are you kidding me?
What did I just talk to you about? What did I just talk
Look
to
at
you?
that. Look at that. Literally what a contrast. He was just a namaste, good positive energy. Gets back
Wow.
to this. You're horrible. You're a two-time world tour champ that has learned nothing. You got a great amateur career, but you just don't even know how to throw a jab. You don't even know how to break down a fighter. You don't know what you're doing out there. You gotta listen to me in between round every time because you cannot figure out a fighter on your own. You dumb kid. That's basically what he's telling him. Look at this. So what a contrast.
What did I just talk to you about? Listen, you turn him in, you
Right
stop. What did I just talk to you about? What did I just talk to you about? What did I just talk to you about? Listen, you turn him in, you're supposed to take the angle, but you're not following direction of what you're supposed to be doing, so you're all the way back here. I'm gonna ask for it in the corner, and you're gonna go back.
See, the same thing where I told you, and then it's not my fault, right? I already showed you this clip. Anyways, we saw that. Let's take a look at another thing.
And the Sebastian.
I want to show you another proof that to Kenny's Potter, all Sean's successes are his successes, but all of Sean's failures are Sean's and Sean's alone.
Formella fight. I could see very quickly that their number one game plan was to not get knocked out. And I think that when you come to the ring with that type of mindset, you're hard to knock out.
We hit him with a lot of punches.
You see, we hit him. He was there hitting him too, bro. That's why Adrien Broner was asking if he should get paid twice, because he's hitting him too.
Took a lot of shots. We heard him better. You know, his heart said, hey, I'm not going to give up.
Look at this action by Sean Porter.
I gave that kid some malicious punishment.
Right? You see how
And
he
he
was?
fought through it all.
We hit that guy with a lot. But just here, I show you a few seconds ago how Sean, how this guy said, oh, if you get hit, it's not my fault, bro. It's not my fault if you get
We
hit.
need these things in a fight, so we have to.
I just showed you that thing when he was like, oh, no, bro. If you lose, it's not my fault. But he's just talking about here when he won this fight against the little white kid. He's talking about how, oh, yo, we hit him. We won, bro. We owned them. It's you and me, Sean, against the world. We fought. We did great. Oh, you lost? Oh, man, you lost, bro. You didn't listen to me. You
show the world what you can do, but you also expose a little bit more your offensive and defensive arsenal.
Showtime, Sean Porter.
Anyways.
That's 2 years ago. He didn't want to fight Sean. He'd be caught.
For some, all done.
Anyways, so here I want to show you, I'm almost going to finish it up. I just want to show you a couple more things. Okay? And that's it. I want to show you a couple more things and that's it. One more thing. I think this guy even might have taken, this guy is so bad of a dad, he might have even sold his son. I don't say this lightly. But listen to his unconscious come through. This is the thing with scam artists. They can't help, they talk so much that they can't help themselves but to let this truth sip out. I'm going to show you this clip that they put early about this man.
He didn't say I want to be a fighter. He said, hey, can I talk to you about something? So we went for a walk that lasted an hour.
I said, with football,
Going to college.
Wasn't Sean's life, but it had been his father's.
So he's talking about his father got a rough
Cleveland, I grew
upbringing.
up in the hood, east side of Cleveland, rough, Streets,
I just want to say
drugs,
this real quick.
alcohol, prostitution,
You see that? Drugs, alcohol, prostitution,
pimps.
And now listen to what it says in subconsciously.
Those were my role models.
Those were my role models. Understand what that means. Understand what that means. This is a problem with African American culture. And I hate to bring this up, but it is. The victim mentality that African American has. I came up in the worst, absolutely worst by Cuban historians, period in Cuban history. I was born in 1993 Havana, okay? So middle of the special period, bro, in Cuba. Absolute hunger. My mom would break down in tears because she didn't have 50 cents to buy me a Coke when I asked. Not 50 mere cents, right? Absolute poverty. And my dad abandoned us, right? And I've never in my life, ever, used that for an excuse to yell at anybody, yell at my son or anything like that. If I don't have a son, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't, like how he does. They use that for an excuse. You know why? Because he said that I was surrounded by prostitution, and I'm talking about male prostitution. In Cuba, there's these guys called pingueros, and female too, but like lots of it. But there was even males who like, they wanted to leave the country so bad that they would be gay prostitutes to leave the country, right? That's crazy. It's called pingueros in Cuba. That's what I grew up with. Absolute poverty, the worst of the worst. The same as this guy. But those guys, the pimps, were not my role models. My role model was my grandpa, who got on a bike and sold sandwiches and produce every morning. That was my role model, my grandpa, right? And I was surrounded by the same bullshit. And these guys out there, like, pimps were my role model. See, that's why he dresses like that, bro. That's why he doesn't dress like I dress like my grandpa, right? He dresses like the role models, like the pimps. And he pimps out his son, bro. Subconsciously, you know that this is true. This is what he looked up to, and he grew up to be that. And I know because I came from the same places, bro. Cuba is just as rough at those places. But I didn't have that victim mentality. I never used that for an excuse to do anything but good. And look at this man.
When you were 4 years old, you lost a brother.
See, he's talking about pimps. And this is where they did the soul. You see what I mean? They only brought this up at the very beginning of the fight. Right before the fight came out, they told you about how he lost his brother. So they could justify an early stoppage. Be like, oh, the mind of that. I never even heard about this before about Sean Porter. Why didn't they talk about this Errol Spence to justify an early stoppage there? It's only now because they knew they were going to stop the fight early because this guy took money from Bob Arum. Remember this. He's working with one of the worst. If you know boxing, you know Bob Arum is one of the dirtiest promoters in the sport. This guy has done all kinds of dirty deals under the table. Bob Arum, man. Seen with the mafia. He told fucking Don King, dude, he's like, yo, if you fuck with me with the mafia, we'll see who really fucks with the mafia. I forgot, I'm paraphrasing, but he sunned Don King on mafia talk, on about sending someone to kill you. He sunned him. He told him, well, we'll see who can play that game better, basically, to Don King. Because, dude, this guy, Bob Arum, it's just the Jewish devil right here, brother. You see, the first time this man, whose pimps were his role models, works with Bob Arum, some funny thing happened. He ends the fight early and he has the perfect excuse, which they played in your subconscious. Remember predictive programming, people? Predictive programming. Right before the fight, they put this little thought in your bubble, right? They go, hey man, this guy might just stop the fight early. He's just a little bit worried about his brother. What? Do you know what I mean? This is predictive programming 101. And this is why I'm telling you, he's saying that pimps were his role model, right? And look at all this. Look at this. If this was back in the day, bro, there will be an investigation. Boxing has always been dirty. But there's always been outrageous. It's getting even more outrageous. But if a trainer of a boxer had this headline after a fight, there will be investigations. Any other trainer of any other boxers throughout history said that he planned to stop the fight if he saw trouble. That will be an investigation, bro. This guy's out there openly saying stuff that looks extremely fishy, bro. Let's take a look at this. Look at some of his quotes after the fight. From a guy who self-proclaimed be a role model. Pimps are his role models. Right? Remember, these guys who said pimps are his role model. Look at the nonsense he's trying to say after the fight. On a super early stoppage. Right? It seemed that it was predictive programming, so you'll be more willing to accept it and have like an excuse to justify it, right? Because had they not told you that about his brother, you would have been like, what the fuck kind of weird stoppage is this? Why would he ever do that? That makes no sense. Angel Garcia didn't stop his fight with Amir Khan. Amir Khan was beating fucking Danny because he had hope, because he believed in the spiritual essence of his son. There's more about physical health. There's spiritual health too. You know what it does to Sean Porter manhood, to his soul, not being able to finish that fight or see it through, to see what actually could have happened, bro, that's bad, right? Like, imagine if Angel would have thrown in the towel before his son knocked out Amir Khan, because Amir Khan was beating his son down. But Angel Garcia believed in his son. That's the difference between Angel Garcia and Kenny. Angel believes in his son, Kenny does not. And I tell you, say, oh no, he just wants to see his son get beat. That's bullshit. Danny's never been down in his career with his 6 toes, bro. Danny's never been down in his career with his 6 toes. So don't get me that. But I'm telling you, Angel believes in his son more. And I'll tell you, look at this nonsense he says.
It makes me say, you know what? I don't want him in that situation. He fought a great fighter. The guy's super sharp. And he's at a deficit. It's like fighting this guy blindfolded. And you're in a deficit like that. So I wasn't going to let that happen to him.
He looks in great shape, but only...
He's in that... His preparation.
What prompted you to stop the fight tonight?
Honestly, his preparation.
You hear that? Look at his face. Look at his face, bro. That's a fucking scam artist, bro. That's a pimp role model type guy. A guy who has role models of pimps. You can see it in his face. It's preparation, bro. That's this fucking street scam artist Cuban type of excuse, bro, after they scammed you, bro. Fuck, man. Like, it gives me an urge to slap him, because that's what you do in Cuba, bro. When somebody disrespects you like this, gives you a non-answer like that, bro, after they scammed you, like, there's an itch in my hand to fucking slap him, man. Even though he might beat my ass, but really, bro. Porque esto is disrespecting your manhood, man. His preparation. You know what I mean?
He didn't prepare like...
Stop the fight tonight.
Look at
honestly, his preparation. He didn't prepare like I want him to prepare. So that's just, you know, that just makes me say, you know what? I don't want him in that situation. He fought a great fighter. The guy's super sharp.
To his son. Look at what he said.
He's at a deficit.
See, it's never his fault.
It's like fighting.
Never Chong's part. It wasn't Kenny's part of the game plan. It wasn't his fucking awful training plan. It's none of that. It's never like what the way he trains his son. No, it's just preparation.
This guy blindfolded, and you're in a deficit like that. So I wasn't gonna let that happen to him.
He looks in great shape, but only you knew what happened in
he
the
looked
gym.
in great
How
shape.
would you have liked?
I straight up think that Sean Porter came into this fight better than all other fights before him. He looked the best, bro. Sean Porter to me looked the best he's ever looked, even though he lost. And Crawford is amazing. I don't want to take anything about Crawford. Crawford was right, but this was the best. And this is why I tell you the fix was in. Guys, please. I'm an engineer, Brian. I know math. I'm an engineer. I know math. Please listen to me. You know deep down, anyone that watch boxing, Dwyer, please watch this video. Brother, the odds were like that because the fix is in. You knew the Porter-Crawford fight was a much, much closer fight. Yes, Crawford should have been the favorite. I agree 100%. However, it was not a 5-1 underdog like the betting lines have it. Why did the betting lines have this man so down, brother? Why did the betting lines have Sean Porter down by so much? 5-1 when it was a much closer fight. And you saw the fight, like how it played out. It was a much closer fight. Why would they have that? Because they knew the fix was in. Because they knew they had that. The second something fishy happened, like the sun was wobbled, they had this guy in the Bob Arum pocket to go and freaking put down the money, you know, to freaking throw in the towel. Not only did they have this guy in the pocket, they had the judges in the pocket, because you saw how outrageous the cards were. You saw that the judges' scorecards had Crawford way up when he shouldn't have been. I watched the fight. So you know the fix was in, bro. That's why they gave you this crazy... Look, when a casino gives you a betting line, they have to access the risk, right? When they give you an outrageous risk like this, when they're taking a huge risk like this and giving you a betting line like this, it's not because they're doing it to hook you in and get more people in. Obviously, they're doing it because of that, but only because they know the fix is in, because the risk does not match the betting line. The risk, the real risk, if the fight was real, it did not match the betting line, because the real risk is much higher for the casino in that case. But because they knew there was no real risk, the fix was in, they could throw that betting line out there to get you to bet. There was a lot of people who bet in Sean Porter because they knew how outrageous the betting line was. Because the casino was being crazy, right? Because they knew the fix was in. That's how you know the fix is in. And this guy sold his son. Right, let's take another look at another of his cringy quotes. And you'll see that subconsciously, Sean Porter knows this, but he just won't accept, his conscious mind of Archangel Michael won't accept it. Look at this. Look when his father talks. Look at the facial reaction. Look at how his core, like the core. This is what like facial language matters a lot. Look at the core, the soul of Sean Porter, how it reverberates, how it resonates when the sound of his father, when you hear the sound of his father and the words of his father. Listen to that, because that first reaction tells you how your soul reacted to it, right? Like your gut, like that's your instinct. That's without actual analysis. That's what your first impulse is, right? Listen to this.
I think there's about a minute and a half left in the 10th round. Had there been less time in the round, would you still have stopped it after the second round?
Plan on stopping it. Can you hear me? I plan on stopping it going into the fight.
See how he smiled there?
Already knew this.
Okay. But if there had been less time left in the round, like
Didn't matter.
You see that little smile? That can you believe that?
I plan on stopping it going into the fight.
You see then the awkward look? Look at that little smile and the awkward look. That's a fact that shook his core. And you know what I mean? And he's just trying to wrestle with it.
Right.
That his dad had no faith in him. That before the fight, his dad had already given up on him. His own father had given up on him before the fight. You saw his reaction. That's that awkward smile and then awkward stare. You saw that? That's a core shaking moment right there.
Plan on stopping it. Can you hear me? I plan on stopping it going into the fight.
See, and then look down. No willing to look in the eyes. No wanting to acknowledge the situation. No wanting to challenge. This is very
Already
violent,
knew this.
brother. Okay. This is the vibes that people talk about. Oh,
Didn't matter. If I saw what I saw, that was my plan.
Okay.
You'll see after a while, Sean Porter's finally understand what's going on here for a little bit. He's conscious. And tries to see his dad's eyes. Try to see his dad's soul. His dad is saying this out loud, right? Trying to see what really is, right? Trying to see his real feelings, which you can see through the eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. So he's trying to look at his dad in his eyes. And his dad is talking this nonsense out. So he can really see if his dad means this. What's going on, right? And his dad won't acknowledge him. His dad won't look him in the eyes as his dad is speaking. You'll see this. How his dad avoids eye contact with his son, and he's talking about his own son, about giving up on his own. Look at this, and how Sean Porter is looking for this eye contact.
Well, first of all, everybody loves Sean.
Thank you.
You know how hard you work, and the other thing is this. I commend your father for stopping the fight. I think you and your dad, I know your relationship.
Unbelievable.
Are so
After
close.
what just happened, he's smiling.
No one knows.
He was so happy for Terrence Crawford too.
What?
It's super weird.
Goes on with you guys, and
He's happy he's got an excuse for another trainer, and he can be like, "Oh well, another trainer feels like I do."
I think that basically said, "Yes, Dad, let's go."
See, he gave up after his dad because his dad came to Michael. See, when his dad gave up, he gave up too. That's what Jeff Mayweather was talking about. But you'll see here. Just want to get to the point where he tries to acknowledge his dad after his dad is talking all kinds of nonsense.
KeithHeidickBoxingScene.com. Tell us what you didn't like about it.
He puts on his glasses before he talks, so he might break.
No knock against Sean in terms of who he is, but as he mentioned earlier, when he thought that Errol Spence would be the last fight, maybe before he fought him, he thought that. I'm his father. I knew that. So I knew everything that was going to happen with him before it happened. So this was something that was coming, you know. Not to be negative towards him, but because I'm his father, I could see these things. Jeff, you can attest to this. I can see it in the training. I can see it in the movements. I can see it in looking at the clock to see how long I got to be here today. I can see it. The most important thing, more important than anything else, and I smiled, not just because it was you, Jeff, but I appreciate what you said, and I smiled. But I smiled because
why are you smiling?
Someone said I was criticized. Please, criticize me. Go right ahead. I love it. Because at the end of the day, which this is where we at right now, we are at the end. We're at the end. Tomorrow morning, I will be able to look out of my window at his house, right across the street from me. I will be able to play with my little G-man. Those are my grandsons. I will be able to walk my dog over to his house. I will be able to hug my daughter-in-law. And I will be able to love on my son.
Lies, bro. You just have envy of your seat, and then the least he actually accomplishes, the better you look in a weird fucking twisted mind that you got. It's really messed up. The worse his son does, the better he looks in his family's eyes, you know, because he came out of poverty or something. I don't know, man. But this is how this guy, man, sees the world, bro. It really is. It's fucking ridiculous. This guy is like super short brain. He thinks that if his son does worse than him, he somehow looks better in the eyes of the entire family, right? When there's like Sunday dinner, right? He's the more accomplished one.
So we won before we got here.
Has no idea about spiritual health, what it means to his son to see that fight through and not see it ended early. All he cares about is supposedly health. Material, right? You know, this is a low vibration thing. He's only worried about the material plane. He's not worried about how his son is going to sleep at night, right? Not really, how he's going to feel about himself, how his soul, about what he accomplished, right?
We were already winning. It's just what's expected in the ring, but in the biggest part of this picture, when this thing is over with, I'm still his father. He's still my son, right? And we get to do that part. That's a long life of that. There's a whole bunch of that to go on, you know? So, you know, I just saw things that told me that it was time.
See how he's trying to look at his dad?
Go ahead, Steve.
Kenny, I know that you got... Say that while you look at your son. You're hard on your son. Say that to your son, looking at him in the eye, bro. Yeah, I didn't believe in you, and I knew I was going to stop the fight early because you didn't want to be in the gym. You see, you just suck, son.
In the gym, I've seen that firsthand. Is it a relief now that you could just be his father instead of his trainer? Did that weigh on you?
But I'm hard on him.
Son is looking for that relationship. He's looking for that window in his eye.
Situation.
Absolutely. But when you say I'm hard on him, you got to understand the reasoning for that is exact.
This is the biggest time that you should tell this to your son's eyes, how you really felt. He said you never had that talk. He said in the ring, we never had to talk about this.
Exactly what we dealt with tonight. You know, I'm hard to the point of, listen, man, I need you to protect yourself. I need you to go home to your wife. I need you to go home to your kids. I need you to be able to play ball
Tell
with
it to him. If that's true, tell him to his face. He's the one who needs to listen. Why are you telling to the fucking guy,
I need you to still play ball with me.
It's easy to say it to
I've
the
jumped
wall.
out of airplanes with my son at 20,000 feet.
It's a lot harder to say that to the person that you're talking to, you know?
Multiple times. I've raced my son in cars at over 100 miles an hour. He beat me.
Saying he cares about his son's health. He wanted him to join football, which honestly, let's give the stats, is worse than boxing. It's fucking horrible when it comes to actual health-wise. Like, you may not get as many brain damage like that, but I mean, like, you get destroy your back, your joints, you get a much shorter career, you get smashed to bits, the training is super hard. Like, you have to be on pills for the rest of your life. Unbelievable, right? He wanted him to do that. Talking about he raced 100 miles an hour with the sun, blah, blah, blah. Bro, you're just talking about health, bro. Unbelievable,
you know,
bro.
road
And then
camels in the
he's like about, I'm preparing him for war. What war was that? You gave up as soon as you saw some hardship, bro.
Sahara Desert.
Have you ever seen an actual war in boxing? Have you seen like the Thriller in Manila, right? Like, come on, man. This is unbelievable. Have you seen any of these fights? They haven't seen none of this. Like Hagler Hearn or like Leonard Hearns or Leonard Hagler, bro. He's never seen none of this stuff, bro.
With my son.
All those fights would have gotten
I got to continue to do those things.
Sorry, look at
this is just a small part of his life. And people would ask me some time ago, he had over 270.
His career, this is what his name will be remembered for. Right? Remember that stupid quote where they say someone dies once when they die material, and then the last time someone uttered their name? Well, his name is going to get uttered much last because of his career, because what he did this time, right? The last time someone's going to speak Sean Porter's name is because, not the last time he dies, it's going to be much after that because of his career. And if you'd have let him achieve more than that, like Muhammad Ali, who will be immortal, right? No matter if he had all that thing, right? This is what spiritual health is, right? He could have maybe done something like that, but you didn't believe in him. You didn't believe your son could do it. You had no faith in your son.
Some amateur fights, they say, why you fight him so much? Why? He was winning. Steve, If he got hurt in fight number 3 as an amateur, we wouldn't have continued with this. He was winning, right? What happened after that? He got hurt again, and I saw him at a deficit. He didn't have everything it took to protect himself. And coming in.
Look. He didn't have everything it takes to protect himself. Look at Sean's reaction. This is where I wanted to get at. Look at Sean's reaction when he says what he went through. He can't look at his son in the eyes and say that, because his son will look at him and through the eyes tell him no way, because look at how he's shaking his head.
Thing it took to protect himself.
See,
and
look at the no.
Coming in.
Look at that again. Look at this.
And I saw him at a deficit. He didn't have everything it took to protect himself. And coming
no,
in.
I said no, bro.
In here.
It's like, no way, bro. Look at me.
I wasn't seeing that. Same thing.
I didn't have enough. He stood up, jumped up, and said, do you want to continue? Yes, he said. And you're not. Didn't have enough. Say that to your son. Say that to your son to the eyes. I want to see you say Sean Porter in the eye. I saw that you didn't have enough to protect yourself. Don't tell it to the fucking weak ass reporter on the back there. That's easy. I can do that. Say it to his son, to the eyes of your son. I didn't believe in you. I didn't think you could do it. When he believed in himself. His son said yes. His son believed in himself. And his father said, no, I don't believe in you, son. Right? But say it to his eyes, motherfucker. And I hate to get mad, but this guy pisses me off.
Going on protecting himself. So the most important thing is that I'm able to walk away from here and he's safe. That's it.
Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kenny.
Let's give a round of applause to a great fighter, a great career, and one of the best commentators in the sport of boxing.
Oh, they didn't play that, but anyways, if you look at the whole thing, you'll see that right after, Kenny gave a freaking long-ass speech about how Crawford is all this good and like dig riding Crawford like crazy. Sean Porter only said, thank you to my fans, blah, 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 and left. Right? He didn't dig right Crawford like these guys did. Like, and then he said, oh yeah, Crawford's a good fighter because he's a class act. His father overdid it because he knows he was lying. He was a scam artist. So his father overdid it because that's what liars do, right? They tell you a long story. Someone who's telling the truth tell you, I was at my house watching a movie with my wife. Someone who's lying tells you, oh no, bro, I was feeling this way, and then I decided to do this, and then I saw this guy, and then I went over here. And it's a long story because they're lying, right? That's what they did, man. Just bullshit long story. Couldn't tell his own son in the eyes that he didn't believe in himself when his own son did believe in himself. So there you go, man. I thoroughly exposed this guy who says that pimps were his role models. I mean, it doesn't get worse than this. This guy is exposed. The only thing that I'm happy about is that because Sean Porter retired, and I hate it because Sean Porter shouldn't have retired. He's a great fighter. He should get another trainer and keep fighting. The only thing that I'm happy about that Sean Porter retires is that I'll never see Kenny Porter ever again. Because he'll never, I'm guarantee you, he'll never have another fighter, be a champion, or have a prolonged career. Never in his life again. He's a horrible trainer. Kenny Porter, I'll never have to see his face again. I'm so happy about that. I thoroughly exposed him. Look at what he said. I'm going to leave you with the last quote, saying that pimps were his role models. I have nothing else to say. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Cleveland, rough, streets, drugs, alcohol, prostitution, pimps. Those were my role models.
No further questions, Your Honor. I rest my case.